Daisies. Today I'm going to do a relax and paint, and it's pink. I know that this is fall and Christmas coming up, but it depends on when you're watching this. I just felt pink today, bright and pink. And so let's get started. It's going to be a surprise painting. So as we're painting it, there's simple strokes that anybody can do. And so I'm going to show you how I load and how I make this happen. And we're going to start with a couple of colors that I want to pull together now. So I'm going to go get my colors and we'll be right back. So I pulled together some pinks that I was sharing with you, and I am thrilled to be teaching another lesson with you. Hopefully you'll spend some time today doing a little bit of stroking just for you. All right. So to me, this is a girly thing, but this would be wonderful to paint greeting cards with. So think about that and let's have fun together. Okay. So let's go to the overhead camera. So we've got magenta. I have some neon pink that I thought we might try to use here, some wicker white, and then we've got some floating medium. So I put some floating medium in a little cup just in case we need it, so it doesn't run all over our plate. And I'm using some flat brushes of different sizes. So I have base coated 11 by 14 canvas, and I think I'm going to turn it sideways. And let's look at that view, okay? So it's going to shine a little bit because this paint has a sealer in it. So it gives you a glow, right? So first thing I want to do is lay my paper towel ready. And I'm going to decide where I want each one of these flowers to go. So I'm going to have one going this way, and here's the center. All right, I have one that comes underneath and the center's over here. So I have a big one that's in the back. So these are going to lay over, okay? So let's put this one here. All right, we have another one here. And this is just a little bit of chalk to make it easier for us to make this all happen, okay? Because it wipes off really easy. All right, and another one over here. Okay, so just to get started, we're going to pick up, let's do the biggest brush first. So I've got a 16 flat, and I'm going to do some underneath ones. And the good thing about doing the underneath ones is that it'll get you ready for making the prettiest ones that show all the, on top. So I'm going to pick up the wicker white and magenta. And so I've dampened the brush, laid it on the paper towel, and I'm going to work this in really good. The white's kind of glowing with the light here. I'm going to work it in until I get a nice pretty tone. And I'm going to use the magenta to go first. Now I can look at this and see I've got too much water. Can you see that running out? All right. So what I want to do is do this one underneath first. So what I'm going to do is the whole flower. But watch what happens. I'm going to touch, lean in the direction I'm going, and pull. All right. So push and pull. So if I do this, I can lean my brush handle forward just a little bit. It'll give me a fuller petal. Okay. And what's really nice is it gives me all the streaks. Let's go up really close. All right, let me turn it where it's not glaring. There we go. If I push and lean forward, I continue to go back and pick up more paint. All right. Got too much glow on this, so you never know. All right, so I keep coming over here to the paint. More paint, more paint. All right, so we're going to push left, push left. See, if you go up close, you can see the streaks. We want to see those streaks because the white has little stroke marks from the bristles, And that's how a real daisy or a real mum would look. The petals have those ridges. All right. I'm pushing hard so that you get a little bit of a white glow on the outside edges. All right. Now, the next stroke to do is coming in between some of these. Now, I'm not going to push so hard now. I'm just going to grab this right here and pull all the way around, picking up fresh white. Now, see how you can see the different layers there? But you have to have fresh white so they show. But then the dark underneath of the magenta gives you those layers that we want to see. Okay. Now you can see that this one didn't end up showing you the petal, but now it does. Okay, so now what's going to happen after we do a couple layers? And this is all with the 16. Okay, then we're going to come in here with a smaller brush. So let's look. I'm going to use my 10. I was looking for an 8 because even a smaller one would be better. So I need this to be really small, and I'll tell you why. As we go in the middle here, we're going to pick up these two colors, the neon pink and the magenta. All right. And so this neon does not look great until it starts drying. And then you see how it pops. All right. So what's going to happen in here is as we come around, we're going to do different layers all the way to the middle. So I think this is a little close, so it's a little blurry. We'll come a little bit further away. All right. Now I would do all of these outside petals to all of the flower first. Right. So now you can see I'm getting better and better, and so will you as the brush is loaded and you're coming in here closer and closer to each other. All right, the magenta's underneath and the neon pink's on top. So now I'm just going to come in here and just pull some magenta around. This will give me another layer. See how I'm getting that darker going around? All right. I still have the neon, but I have it's leading with the neon now. Okay. So this gives you lots of little teeny strokes. Now let's come right in here, little teeny strokes of the neon, and that's all I'm picking up now, neon. Now the color I'm going to go next is I'm going to pick up some citrus green with my small scruffy, 1/4 inch scruffy. Okay. All right. So I've gone around 2 or 3 times, and those are tight, small little petals. If you see them, it almost doesn't look real. I actually am using a happy green, but citrus or happy will work. And then we want the little teeny scruffy. All right, the little small scruffy, and you fluff that. All right, so I'm going to wipe this away just a little bit by making a circle here. Wipe it on a paper towel. So when I pounce this limey green, I'm going to get happy green, and I can even put a teeny bit of white in there to get it brighter, or you could put a little bit of yellow. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to be real tight, and I'm going to twist my brush in a circle around. Now, when this totally dries, I would repounce this right now. I'm getting my first layer so that it can totally dry. And when we put that bright green pouncing in there, when it's all dry, it will be wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to layer this now. So let's pick up again. Let's come up a little bit. So what we want to pick up now is, oh, I forgot a petal right there. A little bit right there. Sneak it in there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is work this back in. All right, so we want that white on the edge so it looks like it's laying over kind of. All right, I do need this one underneath. So I'm going to go around a little quicker than I did before. So you can see what's going to happen here. It's going to go right over. Yeah, it's going to go right over this one. And so you got to make sure your color is good. So you can see the difference in the petals. All right, isn't that kind of fun? All right, this one I might put on top since I put this one over this first petal. Okay, now before, I'm going to do all the centers at the end now, but I'm going to come right in here between without pressure, remember, and kind of in between each one of these petals that I just put down. I'm going to, if you come in with fresh paint each time you stroke, you're going to have white ridges on the edges, which are nice. Okay, all the way around with your 16 flat. I know you're going to be tempted to use a 12 or something, but a 16 is better. Now, I might later shade under this so that pops more and it looks like it's got depth, like we'll shade some pink underneath there. All right, so then we've got this guy here. All right, and he's also going to be a little bit smaller. I forgot that first layer. We've got to touch and lean more, and that gives you that nice rounded. If I lean the handle forward, gives you a nice rounded tip to that petal. All right, so right here, this is going to go right over this first flower also. But I don't want you to think, oh, there's nothing under it, so I don't need to stroke it, because it looks more realistic when you go ahead and paint it underneath than trying to fit it underneath, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the second row here. All the way around. I got to get magenta and white, because the magenta is going to make this next row show up better. Now that's looking really muddy to me, so I'm going to wipe my whole brush off because apparently I got too much white. And then I just restroke in here. Then when I come on top, I'm going to get a better stroke. Okay. All right, so that one started getting muddy even when I wiped it off. So just be cautious of that. I probably needed to clean my entire brush before I went back. Okay, so now what's going to happen is this one's going to be really intense. This one's going to show more. I'm just going to layer these to show you on these right here. All right, so I'm going to push and lift all the way around with lots of magenta. And what I'm going to do is I'm tilting this. So these are going to come up. Okay, but what I want to have happen is these little petals right here. I'm going to bring the magenta, and it's going to come right here underneath. All right, but now I'm going to come back with my white. I wiped a little bit off, and I'm going to pull them right here, pull. All right, I want you to see that those bottom ones are shadowing over this flower right here. Okay, so all I did right here, just to let you just go over it again with you, all I did was instead of leading, remember whatever follows is the prominent color. So on the bottom, I led with the white as I stroked. On the top, I'm leading with the magenta. All right, so I can come right in here. I'm going to grab some neon pink too as I'm coming in here. And like I said, in the photograph, you're going to be able to see this better, the neon. Okay, so look, little strokes here. All the way around. Okay. Now I just wanted, these kind of look like they're flat looking at us. And then this one's tilted a little bit. So you see the edge of those petals. And that could be that one too, but we'll see. All right. So I'm going to have a surprise. I'm going to paint in the middle here, but I'm going to take a few minutes and you can be working on yours as I am building the rest of these flowers. And then we'll be right back. Okay, so I've gotten back to every single one is stroked on with 2 layers. So this one, I flipped the second layer to kind of go with this over here, but it is led with wicker white, so the magenta is predominant, okay? So this one is the same as the other ones we did. And so I'll go back and touch up the licorice and get a better look on here later. If there's little spots, like I got pink right there. So that'll be easy. We're coming around, taking off the chalk just so you can see, but it's best to let this totally dry and then you can go around with a wet paper towel and the chalk will come all off. But I just want it to be a better look for you to see so you're not confused. All right, so then I want to come in with here we go, the 8 or the 10. Here's the 8. Okay, so let's go and do these two. All right, so this is between the neon. Oops, I got lots of paint on there. All right, so this is going to be neon, pink, and magenta. Okay, so as I came around here, just reminding you again, I led with the magenta and I'm coming around each one of these. So you can get about 4 strokes in. So this is your next process. Remember that we go all around leading with the magenta. And then the last part of this, there we go. Now I'm going to turn it around and have magenta be in next row. And I'm going to do the same thing again. We're going to take a little break so you guys can get caught up. But if you're watching this, it's going to keep going. So you're inspired to come back a little bit later and stroke this with me. Okay. So I'm going to go do that to all of them the same exact way I just showed you there. Okay. So now what we want to do, now that all of those are done, I used a blow dryer to hurry mine up. I want you to see, let's put a little bit of sap green or classic green, just a little bit. Okay. And let me show you what happens next is that I'm going to pounce the happy green, citrus green, and a little teeny bit of the darker green. Okay. So now watch what happens right here. I'm going to tap this really tight, not pouncing really big, but tap it really tight right there. Okay. So see how that gives that pretty green? Okay, so this one gonna be a little bigger because it's a little bigger. All right, so citrus, little bit of sap. Now you see with that sap, I worked it in for a few minutes. I'm gonna come around, make this a little bit bigger too. Smaller here. Okay. And one more here. Okay, so see how bright and pretty those stand out? Now, what I want to do is show you the next step. I have decided to paint a really pretty butterfly in here. All right, so I'm going to go this way, 2 lines, just so I can see where I'm going. And then it's going to curve out and curve out. All right, and then I'm going to come down and over. This isn't showing so you could see it very well, but I'm going to base coat it and then you're going to be able to see it. All right, so I'm going to take pure on the whatever you call it. I'm going to take the wicker white and base coat this in, and wicker white over here and base coat this in. Now you'll see a few ridges, but still, when we get through with our shading, you're going to see a really nice look. All right, so we're going to come down here, and then I'm going to come straight across here and straight across there, and come down to a point, and come down here, come down to a point. Okay, so you can see I'm going to come down a little bit more. So it's important that I just put a nice base coated edge here. And I am going to bring it out just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Okay, so this is going to be a light pink. So I'm going to take and put a real pastel neon pink over this wet white. Wet white. Okay. All right, so let's come a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. This is wet. Oops. Wow. I picked up way too much there. All right, so what shading happens on these wings shades through with all the black detail that we're going to be putting, and it makes a really nice base for our butterfly. And to make this butterfly show, it's really pale. And you can put metallic. There's all kinds of fun looks that you can do with this, okay? I'm gonna take off that chalk. I also want to get out my licorice, but I am going to take a little, where's my dotting tool? My little kiss. I'm using my kiss at my other table. So let's see. I'm just gonna dip dot this eraser tool. And these have a really little darker center right there. All right, see, just little things like that really add to it. And also, while this is drying, let me show you. There's a couple of little things you can do. You can come around and just dot little teeny dots around the outside, which would be like little petals of texture right around there. All right, or you could even do the yellow or the white. There's some white. Okay. Little dots around. Okay. Now, I'm going to stop and blow dry really quick and be right back. Now that I've dried this, I'm going to use a 2 script liner and put some of the detail on here. Okay, so we're going to make this inky. So I've got licorice, and I'm going to roll this brush into this. And the first thing that happens is that we put a body in here. So I'm going to put a little bit of a head here, bigger head. Then I'm going to come down and lift and down and lift to get this body here. All right. Then I'm going to, when I get down to these little guys here, I'm going to come right at the end and come way down here and along here and do that to both of these edges. Right down to here and come on the side to here. All right. So as you're doing this edge here, we're going to come out and then we're going to zigzag this just a little bit along here. So out to here and then back and forth a little bit. All right. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have a ghost of a little thin line right here, just so you see what we're doing. A real thin line, and then we push down a little bit right there. Okay, so now what's going on here is right in here we have a heavier look. See, I'm just picking up regular paint, not too inky. And just gonna start right here. And not too inky. Okay. Now, what's going to happen on here is there's a really faint little line that goes right across here. Okay, just a little faint. All right. Now, with the top wings, we're going to come heavier here. You start seeing the butterfly. A little bit heavier right in here. A little bit heavier right in here. Okay. Now, what's going to happen here is we have a big area that is licorice. Okay. And so it comes, you see what's happening here? We're going to come right here and come right here. And all in here gets licorice. Same thing over here. So with the black in the background, this makes this show up even better. Okay, so now what's going to happen across here is we have a heavier line that comes down. And you can see there's all kinds of butterflies with detail like this. And you just pick out the ones you like and make them any color you like this was. All right. And we also have another bit that comes right here. And we can come right in here. Come in here a little bit more. And it's a little bit of detail. Isn't that kind of fun? So what this does is it comes out and it should be about the same distance as this guy is right here. From there to there. And this one's going to come out a little bit more. So it evens up with this over here too. Okay. So hopefully what you're going to see is if we come in here with the body, a little bit of detail down the body, a little bit of white, and some white here, and white in here. All right. And the deal is whatever detail that you want to have underneath, you want to make sure if you have multiple colors, this is mostly pink, you can go ahead and do those. And then we're going to touch and pull in, touch, and then lift as we pull in. All right. So what I said about shading this, isn't that kind of pretty? Now I can take one of my brushes with some floating medium. I already took the floating medium out there, right? And we put some magenta, just magenta. Okay, I got carried away. Magenta and the floating medium. There we go. All right. So what happens is that we have some darkness under here. So it shadows it. So can you see? Let's come a little bit closer so you can see the shadowing. All right. And then the same thing is going to happen over here because this flower is underneath. So you would see the shadowing over that. Okay. See how that sets that back? Let me come back here and get some more. All right. So look what happens under this butterfly. You need to be very careful. Make sure the butterflies totally dry the licorice before you do this. Okay. But right here, this brings it up so that you can see that the butterfly is separate from the flowers. All right. Right here. And along here. All right, so I do still want to put some dark in here, but remember that licorice antennas are fresh. Okay. So see that? Now, this guy's on top, this guy's on top, but right in here, I can still come under here. To make those look like they're underneath, right? All right, we'll pick up a little bit here. Right in here, it's real important that these look like they're underneath. Okay. And this flower here is over this one. Just a little bit of touches here. This one right here, I saw every time I look up at the camera, I see, oh, right here too. All right, oops, I'm in here. Okay, so what happens on this one? This one's right here. Oops, oh my goodness. Pick up all licorice. I would have messed this up. So let's get some medium and some magenta, and we'll go right here. So this one is on top again of this flower. Okay. So there you go. You can also like come around to get some depth. That just adds a little bit more to the flowers if you want to. You don't have to make it really fancy. You just shade some of it. Okay, it really made a difference here. And if you put it around here, it's going to make a difference on this one. Okay, so I'm going to sign it and share it. Be sure that you stop and catch up and do just like I did when I say, let's go do this part. Now come back and let's do this part. And it will make it a fun experience for you. Okay, so I'm going to rub some of that out. And there we are. Oh, let's put a teeny bit in the butterfly. Let's get a little bit of depth right in there. Oh, look how pretty that makes it. Right there. Oh, I like that. And a little bit here. Okay, and look, we can shade a little bit on the tip of those wings. Isn't she pretty? There we go. Oh, one little dot there and a dot there. It's kind of like an eye. It's weird. I think it's for nature. They put it so that they're protected. I didn't clean that up. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you next week. Check me out on Friday. We've got some new lessons for you. Thank you. Bye-bye.